Hey guy, here Bootsy, here. First we gotta start out giving this guy some food here. Some more. Here's some treats in your bowl. He's meowing, man. I just gave him food. Before I get on with this knife stuff, I always give him some of that in his Power Pack vitamin real food mix. So he eats the rest of it. Yeah, I just want to put a word of caution out. You know, I know these knives I get a lot of times are cheap ones, and but I don't have all cheap ones. This is a regular KABAR. That's the baby one. I got the medium one too, and the regular one. This is the Bowie KABAR. See USA 1095 Crown steel, right? Nothing cheap there. But then I get, you know, Chinese knockoffs and stuff, and I know some of the limitations on this one. I picked up, I should just reviewed it actually. Turned out, I think this is like a $8 knife, or maybe it was a $10 knife. It was a $10 knife, maybe. You can see what I did up here. This is all adhesive. It's been drying about 12 hours. I got to give it another 12 hours or so. Make sure it's really on there really hard. But I was lifting up this clip, and I'm aware that these screws can come out sometimes, and what you could do with the knives, these cheaper Chinese knives, is put some chemically clean them, put a little super glue or Loctite on the screws, or just put some super glue around the edge of the head of the screw to keep it from backing out. Even that works pretty good, right? This one, when I was lifting it up, the screw basically popped out. It was stripped out, even though this is an aluminum handle. So, you know, that's going to require more heavy-duty fix than just using something like, you know, Loctite or crazy glue or super glue. Or you could use something like JB Weld. But just like I fixed that spooky 2 thing, I tripped the wire over. Remember that other thing I did? You can use this shit right here, 3M panel adhesive, part number 08115. Now this is supposed to have a gun with a couple of things that go in here. I just press the 2 plastic things that go in here against my chest and put out equal parts of white and black. It's like actually like an off-white and a black, just sort of like JB Weld, you know. And I mix them up with a little tiny knife spatula, and then I apply it. So I chemically cleaned that, and this screw was in there still tight, but I took it out, and now it's like the strongest ass epoxy going. So it's all glued chemically to, it's chemically cleaned, and it's all glued to the handle itself, all around this. When this really dries on there hard, it's going to be way stronger than anything. And you know, the knife operates no problem, so that's a fix. But also, you know, this was another one. I already knew about this ahead of time. This was a Bud Case special. A $12, $10 to $12, depends on when you buy it on sale. You know, KABAR, but it's a knockoff. It's a 420 stainless steel. It's not that 1095 Crown steel like in. You could tell there's a it's a lot lighter than a regular KABAR. It's probably, I'd say it's about the same weight. Maybe this one's even a hair heavier, even though it's smaller than this one. So that tells you the density of steel is freaking crap. But the big problem with it is these this pin can come out right here. So you can get really fancy and take all these things, take the whole thing apart, and then epoxy everything on the inside. But I didn't bother to do that. I just epoxied the pin head, epoxied this, and up around here. This will not fall apart, but you could break this knife because it's not the same kind of steel. It's a 420 stainless steel. If you drove this into a tree and you stepped on it, you'll snap that blade no problem. You know, I realize, but it's still a useful knife, and it's a little lighter, so it's kind of cool for that reason. And it don't rust, although I don't think the Provence rust too much. And this Confederate one, this was just a little bit of junk on here. Get clean it off. But this, I actually smeared some of this over here purposely because it said India. This was made. This is carbon steel. Confederate blade made in India, and I liked it because it's carbon steel, not some cheap ass. I mean, it's probably not the highest carbon, but I'm sure it's a hell of a lot more carbon and better edge retention than some of the cheap knockoffs you get of these Confederate Bowie knives back with the stainless steel they use. I'm sure they're not using 440 B or 440C, and I'm sure they're not using something like even like the 420 HC high carbon like Buck Knives uses with their good heat treat. They're using some no-name brand of stainless steel. So I opted to get this for, I think it was a little over, it was like 30 something bucks delivered, but it's got a solid brass D-guard instead of brass plated, and it's carbon steel. So I don't know what it is exactly, what kind of carbon steel. I'm assuming it's around a 1065. Not bad, because considering it's pretty hefty. But it goes in. It's a stick tang, and part of the strength of this knife is the way it's attached is up here. So they had like a little bit of a foam gasket around here. What I did was I took that foam gasket off. I chemically cleaned it, and then I used this panel adhesive, part number 08115. Now this is not an ad for this shit, but I'm just telling you, this crap is like got so many damn uses I've been using to fix every damn thing with. And I put it all inside of here, and then put the foam gasket over that. So now that's got that super strong epoxy gluing the handle, the D-guard, to the blade itself, which is up here, is reinforced there. So that makes the blade a little bit stronger at the attachment point. Not like saying it's the greatest thing in the world, but it probably can handle a hell of a lot more abuse now. But that's one of the things, I'm telling you, man, this stuff is amazing, man. I have this, sometimes I use JB Weld. I got one of the packages that are open. This stuff is pretty good. This used to be the stuff I used to use all the time. And this is like $5 or something. It's made in USA. It's good junk. It's been around a long time. But this stuff, it's close to 40. It's about $38 delivered off of eBay or something. $36, maybe 35 something, 30, maybe $36 delivered if you look around. This stuff, you are getting quite a bit more of it than that, but it is probably double the price of JB Weld. And let me tell you one thing, it's probably several times stronger, and it's been one of the things I've been using to repair a lot of stuff with. So I fixed this, which probably was a manufacturing defect. They probably stripped the screw when they put it in the threads, in the aluminum when they manufactured it. That's why it popped out. Normally I take some super glue, put them around those screws just so they don't back out. But so I fixed that. It's going to be stronger than anything original. I did a precautionary step on this one by putting the adhesive in between the blade and this, all chemically cleaned first and a little bit roughed up, so the D-guard is directly attached to that blade. Before it wasn't like that. It's glued there. That whole section is glued there. So even though that's got a stick tang, this heavy piece of brass is all reinforcing right to the back of the stick tang. So that actually probably makes it quite a bit stronger. This would be the failure point of this joint. This knife I don't think would break that easy, because it is some type of carbon steel, and it's pretty damn thick, and it's wide this way. Now this one, I know this is not a strong knife because it's a 420 stainless steel, but it is lighter, and it is very, very, very rust resistant because it's 420 stainless steel. Now the real K-bars are pretty close to stainless steel. They're semi stainless steel because they're just not 1095 carbon steel, which is that they got great edge retention. The real K-bars like those right there, and this one right here. But they also have there's chromium, vanadium, molybdenum. There's something else, but the chromium content is fairly close to what would be considered a stainless steel. That's why it's actually a semi-stainless steel. This is a full stainless steel. It's got very little carbon in it, so this is one of those knives you put through the pull through a sharpener. And I'm aware it's not the strongest knife in the world, but I didn't want all these leather gaskets, washers falling out of this thing because the pin fell out. So that's epoxied in there. That's epoxied that way. Plus, it's all epoxied up and around here, so I can't get water inside and cause the water to get in here and then swell up those leather gaskets or grommets, whatever you want to call those. So when you buy these cheap knives, you can just keep some of this. If you keep some of this crap around for any purposes, you can make them a lot stronger and a lot better than they came from the factory. And I think that's not the only example of what I've done with some of these knives, but there's always a way around something. So yeah, I guess it's made in China, it's made in Taiwan, it's made in India, it's made in Pakistan, but then it's been reworked a little bit here in the USA by me, because I can make their stuff a little bit stronger. I'm probably going to do that on the bone handled knives, where I'm going to probably put a bead of that stuff up and around here. Look, I don't need to do this on this KABAR. This KABAR is built way nice. This is a very nice KABAR. This size right here, this is the most handy size, the shorter one. I think it's the 5 1/4 inch blade. This is like the standard one. Now this one's the Chinese knockoff. I got the real one inside. This one actually is a this one actually is a great blade because it's a serrated edge too on the top like that. This is a damn nice knife, man. But thing is, sometimes you don't want to be carrying something like that around when I mean, if I had one knife, I'd probably keep that one, But sometimes you're out and about, or some of you got knives you leave in your car, or knives you just carry with you on an everyday situation, and you're doing different things with it. Maybe you're not supposed to be using a knife for. Well, I don't want to be boogering that thing up, but if I just had one knife, I'd be going for the KABAR. I think it's the most reasonable priced knife out there for quality and what you're getting, for the money. But a lot of these Chinese jobbers ain't bad, but like I said, you can fix them up a lot better with some crap like this. And a lot of times you can tune them up a lot better by like I'm modified where the liner lock hits sometimes on these things, so to make sure they smack right in the middle. I loosened up sometimes I loosen up this screw about 1/16 of a turn, and it makes them open up slick as snot. That's all I need. And say once you get it right, you can put some super glue or crazy glue just around here so it doesn't loosen up anymore. Not to get it inside there, but just around here once you get it just locked on exactly right. So that's the way you can make these cheap ass knives quite a bit better. And that makes them sort of like, even though they're made in China, India, Pakistan, whatever, Taiwan, they're sort of like halfway made in the USA somewhat, because I modified them. There you go.